Hi, this is Rod with Boomer Guitar Sessions. Welcome to episode 7, Lead Guitar Player's Toolbox. We're establishing a lead guitar player's toolbox. Lots of stuff we're going to talk about today. This is going to be a longer video. In the lead guitar player toolbox, the first thing we're going to talk about is chunking. So the idea is with chunking, this is learning theory. You have something really big and really impossible to do. What we can do is chop it up into stuff that is not so hard, and not so each little bit of that is doable, and that's what we're going to try to do today. So, lead guitar player's toolbox. First of all, what is a lead guitar player? Lead guitar players are the ones that play the improvised and not improvised solos of the guitar. They play the melody stuff of the guitar. Outside of the riffs, rhythm guitar players play riffs. Lead guitar players play the higher register stuff. These are the guitar heroes, and the Steve Vais and the Jeff Becks and the Eddie Van Halens. They're known for playing lead guitar. What we're going to do today is we're going to talk about how to use them, what techniques they use, what do we do with music theory, all that kind of business. Okay. First thing we're going to talk about, the first mindset you want to get into is the idea of playing in key. When I say playing in key, understand that when a guitar player plays, he is not guessing at what notes might work. Okay, when your lead guitar player is playing, you'd say that they don't know music theory and they're able to hit the right notes. They do have an idea of music theory. They do know what key the song is in, and where they have to place their fingers in order to get said desired sound that they're looking for. So we're going to use the key of E because it is rockin'. It is a really cool rock key. It's a really common rock key. It's in blues, it's in rock, it's in R&B, it's in funk, it's in lots of stuff. Okay, so we're going to be specific in them where it's kind of like a power chordy key of E. It's going to be E minor specifically. We're not going to do major stuff. We're going to do minor stuff. Okay, when I say E, what we're talking about is progressions that you hear that have, first off, like E5, A5, a G in the middle, you throw a B in there. There's a D in there. D. So all your open chords that we learned from the Malcolm Young lesson, plus we can do B. Another thing we can do that's more R&B based is throw in an E7 in there, and any kind of E7. All right. So that is the key of E minor. So it's E minor, E7. That is what we're going to be using. So E, G, A, D. Anyway, so as far as melody goes, the first thing that guitar players need to equip themselves with is some sort of scale background, some sort of scale knowledge. We're going to practice the scales that work and the scale that works. We're going to start with your open E minor pentatonic for today's lesson. When I say E minor pentatonic is a 5-tone scale. It is magical. There's so many sounds that you know and you've heard before that use these sets of notes. Okay, so how do I play it? Open from low to high. Open, third, open, second, open, second, open, second, open, third, open, third. Third, open, second, open. So the first goal that you want to have is you want to go, be able to play that. Just become familiar with the notes that are in that key of E minor. As far as picking goes, I'm using mostly downstrokes. Nobody talks about the importance of the downstroke, but to have a really strong downstroke, it's as important as having alternate picking together, which we'll discuss in a moment. Okay, so I'm practicing this scale. Practicing that scale, ascending and descending, getting it down to the point where it's not a problem. It's easy. All right. Next thing we want to do is we want to add a note. If we add a note, we get one more scale that we can add to our arsenal of cool stuff. The note we're going to add is into this is going to be the A sharp B flat note. Just by adding that note, that gives us what is called a blues scale. In blues, in country, in rock, in metal, and all that, minor pentatonic and the blues scale are often interchangeable. Okay, people will often put that flat 5 in there without asking for permission. Okay, so now next, what we're going to talk about is how do we practice this stuff. We haven't even learned any technique yet, but we learned a scale. So one of the things that I'm all about is making this as fun as possible. So what I do to make things fun is I plug in a backing track. Okay, what a backing track, you just go to YouTube and download it. Hendrix backing track in E, or like Voodoo Child in E. In this lesson, I'm going to have a link to a backing track you can download. But what it would sound like, and I would practice my scale, and I can hear how the notes that I'm learning in the scale, they sound with real music. So here it goes. Okay, so with that said, every step of the way, every new thing I learn, every new technique I learn, I practice that scale to the backing track. All right. So licks, melodies, techniques, all you listen, you work with it, you practice with it, and you hear how these things work in real music in real time, and that makes it fun. It doesn't feel like practice when we do it that way. So next, we're going to talk about the next part of the chunking process. Is let's chunk down the technique end of things. We've already talked about the importance of downstrokes. That's really, really important to getting your picking hand together and practicing downstrokes. You also want to be working on alternate picking. Okay, when we say something is alternate picking, it's down up picking. All right, so using down up picking is absolutely something you want to put into your technique tool bag. So the next couple things that we do, that we're going to learn how to do, all those things that when you listen to people that play this and it sounds like what they're doing is impossible, it's not. It's just you just haven't learned the technique that they're using. So one of the techniques that I'm talking about is threefold. It's going to be the hammer-on, which goes from a low note to a higher note. So I would practice my hammer-ons. And then the opposite of a hammer-on is a pull-off. All right. So you put those two together, and then you get the hammer-pull combination. So it's going to be like this. hammer pull combination. Okay, bending. There's all kinds of expression that can come from bending. That is something that somebody, the guy from Polyphia, said something that boomer bends. Well, I don't know what a boomer bend is. A bends make your music better. So anyway, everybody uses them, not just boomers. But anyway, with that said, I'm pushing up that note. All right. And I can do whole step bends or half step bends. All right. So bending. Next things we would whole step bends, half step bends, vibrato. Shaking the note. That's vibrato. Whenever you have some space, shake the note. The idea of the original blues guys from long ago, that they wanted their instrument to sound like the sound of the human voice in moments of struggle and soul. So that's how they did it. All right, trills. Trills are hammer-ons and pull-offs really, really quick. So it's like this. Lastly, the sliding of notes. We slide notes. Now, where the real magic comes, and this sounds, all these things are manageable to do in themselves. It's not that hard to go from this. You got to practice it, but it's not impossible. When it starts sounding impossible, it is when we combine these things. But that's what we want to do, and it's not impossible at all. Your lead guitar, your lead guitar toolbox. Now, some of what we want to do from there is I would try all those things and try combining those things, like and then you listen to people who use these kinds of sounds, like Jimi Hendrix is in Catfish Blues and Voodoo Child and Stevie Ray Vaughan and Scuttlebutt and all kinds of AC/DC, I Don't Need No Doctor by Humble Pie. All right, all kinds of stuff in the key of E. Lots and lots of rock tunes are in the key of E. So with that said, listen to people who do it. Take their licks, play in phrases. See, licks are kind of like phrases. That's why licks are important. Doesn't mean you have to play exactly the lick that you stole all the time. You reinterpret the lick, but it gets you thinking in terms of phrases, which we want to play phrases over scales, even though the phrases are coming from the scale. When you're improvising, this is ugly. That's ugly. What you want to do instead is think in terms of bite-sized chunks, little statements, telling a story. listen to players and how they take some of their stuff and then reinterpret it, practice what you learn on a jam track, and you're well on your way in becoming a lead guitar player. One scale, a whole bunch of. This is probably a year's worth of guitar lesson in this episode right now. It won't take you a year to get it down, but it's a pretty good lesson, if I must say so. Anyway, this is Rod. That is it for now. Any questions? Write it down below. Any comments? What did you get out of it? Give me your best. What did I got out of this? What did I learn from this? What would you add to it? Okay. What are some good songs to practice with it? Put it all down below. Be a part of the community of Boomer Guitar Sessions, and just understand that you can do this. And I appreciate you. And until next time, we'll come back and we'll learn all sorts of neat and cool stuff. Boomer Guitar. See you next time.